do all the boxes together in one place. How's it going? We all good?
Yeah, all good.
We're all happy. All looking at me a little bit nervous. As I say, don't make me say too much. We'll try and go down the line and be all similar kind of questions, but Bradley, I'll start with you if that's okay. Probably the most interview experience, I would imagine, especially at the moment. Is there anything you haven't done? I think you started with the Southern Area title, British, Commonwealth, European, Intercontinental Champion. Bit of a change of Christmas, refocus, refresh with MTK. Lots going on for you at the moment. Let's rewind a little bit. Tell me a little bit about how, if you come over there, I'll give you the microphone. Tell me how you started. Did you have an amateur career?
Yeah.
How did you take off in boxing?
Well, I started when I was 7. My dad at the time worked for the guy who owned also an amateur boxing gym.
Right.
I used to go down, he was a mechanic, used to go down on Saturdays and just play around with mechanics and that. And then he had 2 boys who boxed, they were older than me, so I stayed at the gym. And then I kept an ox to my mum, and I go and she went for boxing, so she weren't letting me down the gym. But when I was about 7, 8, she finally let me go. And then didn't look back since. That's all I've done since boxing. The first fight I got at 10, 11, and went through the amateur system, done like schoolboy championships, junior championships, senior championships, and I realised when it was like 12, 13 when I got picked for England, when I won gold medal in an international tournament, and thought, oh, this is good, like this is something that I want to do. Started taking it serious. When I was GB team, I was with Chris's brother, Obed, who was a good amateur boxer, who boxed all around the world with him, had some good trips with him, and then growing up watching Prince Nazim, I always wanted to be like him, just decided good. I think ended up 94 amateur fights, winning 72, with black cells on Team GB, boxing for GB all around the world, and turned pro, and then we're back.
Now we're turning a new page, new chapter in Bradley Steed's history.
Yeah.
Any fights up and coming?
Not at the minute, we're just sort of still in the process of sorting things out. Like on the season program, I've had like 31 fights. Domestically, I've cleared up. I've been ranked in the top 3 in the world with the WBI. The high ranking I was linked to fight Jeff Horn for the world title. We beat Manny Pacquiao, that didn't happen. I boxed at a very high level, and before Christmas I suffered a big defeat rush against someone I shouldn't have been losing to, and just had to take some time off, reevaluate where I was, live a normal life. Like I said, I've been boxing since I was 7, 8 years old, and been boxing a long time, and took some time off just to refresh, recharge the batteries, and hopefully I'll get back in there before the end of the year, this year, and then get back to where I was, get back to winning ways, and back to that European, if not world level.
How do you feel about now you've been looked after by MTK? It feels like there's a fresh impetus in your career, kind of a lot more energy. I know that on the road to Christmas things might not be perfect kind of thing, but it definitely feels like you're into there's a new era now kind of thing.
Yeah, it's just that.
And you will only be looking for big fights.
Yeah, that's it. I just need a fresh start, fresh change, like I say. So I've had this break now, it feels new to me, being back in the gym and changing up a few things, and just start fresh again. I've got that drive back, and that's what I'm looking forward to. So I hope at the end of the year get a fight, and then next year get these big fights in.
Looking forward to it. That's the way too. Chris Congo, thank you for joining us. Bit of a similar history, I would imagine, in terms of England squads and GB squads. And tell us a little bit about how you started in the sport. What's your background in terms of the amateurs?
In terms of amateurs, I was at Fisher Boxing Club. So at first I wasn't really into the boxing side of things, but because my 2 brothers started before me, they was at the gym. So if you know where Fisher Boxing Club is, the boxing club is upstairs, and downstairs you've got the youth club. So there you could play pool, snooker, whatever, football, table tennis. So I was mainly there. So when I was 8, when I was around 8, I started going up to the boxing gym, and I was a quick learner, so I'll just look at people, all the top fighters there, like Matthew Furwell, Dave Walker, all them guys, I would look at them and just literally just copy them.
And your brother was already in the gym?
My brothers were already in the gym.
Brothers, so is the brothers or the friends, or it's something that kind of attracts you in?
Yeah, 100%. And I'll just look at them, and within a couple sessions I would literally just got it, especially skipping on the bags and stuff. And I looked up to my brothers very highly, so I watched all the styles. My eldest brother, Elvis, was a fighter, big puncher, come forward, just looking to get the knockout, and Obed was more of a smart boxer, in and out. So I watched both of them from a young age and sort of tried to merge the two styles together. And started from then. I had my first fight. In the UK, you have your first fight at 11 years old. So I had my first fight at 11 years old. Funny enough, I lost my first two fights. My first ever two fights, I lost them. And after that, I had like a 10 winning streak.
No skills bouts, just straight in at 11?
Straight in. After that, I had like a 10 win streak, and went on, like Bradley said, I won the schools, I won the junior ABAs, the seniors, I got to the finals, and then from them, got into Team GB, was on there for about 2 years or so. And I think once I knew who was going to the qualifiers, I thought, do I want to stay for another Olympic cycle, or do I want to turn pro? And I think at that time, it was just the right time to just go pro. So,
big decision.
It's
a lot of time, isn't it?
It was a big decision, because I was still on there anyway, so I could have stayed on and waited for another Olympic cycle and still been on there till now. But I thought, at the time I was 23, I thought, no, this is a perfect time to go pro, so I just turned pro from there.
So interesting to talk about. Lost your first couple of fights, first couple of amateur fights.
Yeah.
Guy that's local to me, Luke Campbell, he lost his first 9 or 10 on the bounce kind of thing. It doesn't mean anything. If anything, it helps to define you as a person and what, you know, it's not what happens to you, it's how you react kind of thing.
100%. I think for me, I was always young and I was always just told to just keep going and push forward. And that's what I've known from young, all the discipline and the dedication. I've seen that from when I was young. So that's why certain things I do by myself, I just do it. I wake up in the morning, I go for my run, go to the gym, S&C, I do all that. That's me. It's like second nature to me. So, yeah.
Exactly the same question. Tell us a bit about, you're probably the newest in terms of a new professional, 3-0 undefeated, looking towards a big fight coming up soon for you.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your background, your amateur pedigree, and how you got into the sport.
How I got into the sport was I got kicked out of school in year 7.
We'll do it.
I ended up going into a pupil referral unit.
Yeah.
Started boxing there, and that's where the passion came from. My first official club I boxed for was Harringay Boxing Club. Then I moved over to Del Youth, Finchley, erected, and I decided to turn pro at 24 after having 120 amateur fights. Won about 70 of them, so yeah.
That's a good record. That's a good record.
Never had a chance of boxing on that English team or GB team like these two, but I hope to achieve the same as a pro.
After 120 amateur fights, you're ready? It's time to turn over?
100%. I have the experience. I've boxed lots of good boys. I beat lots of good boys as well. So, yeah, man, I'm just ready to just...
I know you've got a fight coming up soon. When's your next big one?
28th of September, York on Steve Goodwin show. I'll be boxing a guy called Justin Benzie, so it'll be my first step-up fight, which I will win, so...
That's a real 50-50 one, isn't it?
Yeah.
That'll be good. I've heard that the MC for that night is amazing, by the way. Watch out for that guy.
Definitely, I definitely will. But
fantastic. Yeah. I'll take the mic back very quickly. So, what I'd like to cover, if that's okay, I'm going to ask questions then, bring you guys in. The first thing I'd like to know, which I think would be interesting to find out, would be, what's maybe not the biggest experience you've had from boxing, but the biggest experience of opinions, the biggest impact. How has boxing impacted your life the most? So we'll go that way, if that's okay. So start with you, Julio.
I mean, for me, boxing changed my life. It gave me a sense of direction. I was able to give back to my community by helping younger generations, teenagers of today. So, I mean, I currently work with the youth of today. So, yeah, it's about building and just being confident with yourself. And yeah, boxing changed my life. So I was going in the wrong direction, and boxing kept me straight and narrow. For me, that's the biggest impact it's had on me. Really, it's really set my life in that direction.
Yeah. Same question for you, Chris.
I think for me, boxing has done the same thing. It's done a lot. It's kept me away from the life of crime. Because where I'm from, I live in Oakland Road. That's like Birmingham area side. It's kept me away from the life of crime over there, because Oakland Road, we had troubles with people from Peckham. Because I knew a few people from Peckham, so it was a bit like, oh, who's this guy? What side is he on? So for me, the gym was where I always was, and regardless of that, I'd previously been stabbed as well with my arm. So I was stabbed when I was 16, just literally on the roads, and it's crazy. But not looking back on that and just thinking of boxing, it's literally kept me in the gym. All the championships that I've been to in the finals, that's what done it for me. So I always knew in 2 weeks' time I was going to fight, or another 2 weeks I was going to fight. So there was always a focus.
You hear that story a lot, the gym, wherever it is in the community being, it's almost like a contradiction in terms, because it's a contact sport, but the gym being like a safe place in the community where, it's the same back in Yorkshire where there's good areas and bad areas and places you shouldn't go, but the boxing gym is always a place where everybody can go and mix and it'd be okay.
100%, and like I said, in boxing, it's a community and it's also a family as well. So the more you go to the gym, the more you build up a family with people. So I could go in the gym, spar 10 rounds, bash each other up, and then after that we'll just be talking in the change room. By the time you know it, it's 9 o'clock. You have to go home and go sleep because you don't have the school, college, or whatever in the morning. So it's always good to be in a place where there's positive people and good energy.
No, I think it was Ernest Hemingway said that boxing is the most honest conversation that two people can have.
100%.
That's true, isn't it? You can spar a lot of rounds, then have a glass of Coke afterwards and a chat. And there's no anger left over. No nothing. It's amazing. Same question for Brian.
Yeah, that's a really cool. Boxing from a young age, like I say. I've met some good friends who become family to me now. Travelled as an amateur all around the world, up and down the country, championships, travelling all around the world, seeing different cultures. The eyes are open to it all, and just from boxing, I learned my career now, and living from it. And yes, that's the purpose for me. Like, so from a young age, not people get their opportunities to travel the world and go and see things that people wouldn't see before. And like I say, it's kept me away from things. Not that I was growing up in trouble or anything, but it's easy to slip in if your friends and that are doing certain things, and it's easy to slip into that. And I've not done that. I've always been in the gym and always been training. So yeah.
Probably keeps the mic a second, Brian. I think we'd all kind of say that the advice to anyone, not just young people, but go and find your local boxing club, get involved. It doesn't cost anything really, or it costs very, very little. A lot of clubs run like charities as well, it doesn't cost a lot of money. Just go down and get involved and take part, and even if you're just in the corner doing the backs for a little while, and keep going kind of thing. I think some good advice. I've got all three of you, almost like kind of different stages of your career kind of thing. What advice would you give to someone who's just about to turn over? So, kind of looking at, like you were saying, maybe looking at that Olympic cycle, or do I go for the next ABAs, or 19, 20 years old, do I look to turn over now? What would your advice be?
Well, I'd say if they've done the amateur setup, they're really good. I'd say people think you've got to be this world-class amateur to turn pro, and pro and amateur is two different sports. I know world-class amateurs who haven't made it as a pro, and vice versa. So it's like, I'd say that gives you a foundation. Being a good amateur gives you experience and your knowledge of boxing, but I wouldn't say you'd have to achieve massive things as an amateur going to the Olympics. Yeah, it gets you a good deal. It gives you're on a high platform from the get-go. You know you've travelled the world, you know you're coming up against world-class fighters from the get-go. But I'd say if you've done boxing and you like it, you train hard, that's the main thing. If you're in the gym training hard and putting that work in, nothing can stop you from achieving. Only yourself can stop that. So my advice is if you're looking to turn pro, is just get the right team. That's the main thing. You've got to get the right trainer, the right manager, the right promoter. They're the three main people you need, because you get the wrong team, things start going wrong. And professional boxing is not a sport, it's a business. And you don't want to mess up the business side of things, because things can go wrong. So get the right team.
While you've got the microphone, would you say we have a lot of senior boxers in our club? A few of them look to turn over, and one of the issues we found is that straight away they start kind of looking for who's the best name trainer that can find, or who's the best promoter that can find. Or do you think that actually there's an opportunity to stay in a pro-am club, and you've had a coach for a long time who's looked after you and you've had success with, stay with them? Or would you say actually go for a good pro coach?
Boxing's boxing, so good trainers, good training. It's a fact, there's a training, they've got the knowledge, they can teach you. It's an amateur coach you've been with since he was a kid, and now you're a man looking to turn pro. Why, if it's not broke, like, don't fix it. So I'd say that there's some great amateur coaches out there, some great pro coaches out there. But like I said, now this day and age, there's pro-am gyms, so there's no reason not to stay with the trainer you've been with years. You've already got that connection, you know what works, you know what goes well. So I'd say, yeah, definitely, just you've got to have the right team, because you can't be going into fights and questioning yourself, questioning if you're doing this and trying to do that. It's a very much more than anything.
More important to have that connection.
Yeah.
Chris, same question for you. What advice would you give some 19, 20-year-old looking to turn over?
I think I like to look at I like to see as I use the word experience, because experience is priceless, you can't buy it. I think it's always good to get a decent amount of amateur fights in, even something over 30 and 40 fights, because what that then gives you is you fight 40 people, and all the 40 that you fight all got different styles. So you might fight southpaw, you might fight boxer, puncher, you might fight someone that's so awkward that you don't even know like how to pin him down. So I think experience for me is definitely key. And for me as an amateur, I had 90 fights, so I was very experienced, and being in the Team GB, that was probably one of the best experiences I ever had, because I was going to different tournaments and fighting all different types of styles. So I can pretty much say that I've fought every style there is out there in boxing.
That's working with different coaches as well, isn't it? So
different coaches. Not
just your coaches from your home club, but the England coaches and GB coaches as well.
100%. As an amateur, I didn't change my coach. I only had one coach. I didn't change. And the reason being was I saw more results. If I ever took an L, I come back and won, and I saw better results the second time I got someone more. And after 3 fights after, I started to see the improvement. And I think that's what a lot of people don't do. What they do is they take a loss, I need a new coach, I need new this, I need that. And I don't think that's the case. I think you should always work with a person that's been there 100% and that knows you very well. As a pro, that's different. And for someone looking to turn pro, I feel like finding a coach is key, because you need someone to bond with, and you need someone that's going to know, that's going to take you to the top level. I believe it's someone that's been there at the top level. But there's all great coaches out there, but I think for me it would be to go out there and just look around and just after 2-3 weeks just see who you think can take you to that next level. So I definitely think looking around for coaches, in terms of pros as well, it's a business, man, and it's really hard. It's not easy. I started at the bottom, so I started from the small bull show scene, and there's some days where I'll be fighting, and a lot of the time you have to pay your opponent to come and fight, and literally I've come out there not making a penny, so I've fought for free. There's been a few times that I've had to fight for free, so that's how hard it is. And if you think you can just come in the pro game, get with all these top people, it's very hard. It's a hard business. it's not about how good you are as an amateur, it's about how many tickets you can sell, how many bums you can put on seats. So that's one thing to also remember as well. And if you've got a good team and you're building yourself up, you're selling your tickets, you're eventually going to get to the big platform. You're eventually going to get on the big stage with Frank Warners, the Eddie Hearns. And once you're there and you keep winning, the world's your oyster.
Brilliant, thank you. Same question for you. Advice for you're probably the newest out of the three, so
I'm the newest pro.
it's the rawest for you. What would your advice be for someone to tell?
Most importantly is foundation and obviously experience. I mean, for me, I had 120 amateur fights, and Chris did mention something about switching coaches every time you lose a fight or whatever, all the time you don't feel comfortable. I've done that a few times, and it didn't really work out for me that well. So it's all about finding someone you're comfortable with, finding someone that can teach you things that you can build with, have an understanding of. So most importantly is about experience and foundation of the coach.
Just the general advice for someone turning over.
In terms of role play, again, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. But again, finding that person that can reach to the next level, building that foundation. Again, most important in terms of coach is experience. I believe that is priceless, like Chris said. So you need that experience to turn pro. You know, because if you don't, you're going to get really badly hurt. And so definitely experience and finding a good team building the foundation, I would say.
That's interesting. You say that about changing coaches a couple of times. I've seen that in our club. And one thing that makes boxing a beautiful sport is that there's a huge difference between the amateur game, the amateur code, and what happens professionally. But in terms of the actual sport, the training's very similar, the lifestyle has to be very similar, the attitude, the hard work, the dedication, it's got to be similar. And you see that sometimes, and people will take a loss and then, it's not, the club's terrible, the coach is terrible, and they'll go somewhere else. And all they're doing is kind of deflecting everything onto someone else, but then you see them in the next 2 or 3 fights in the championships, they don't really learn anything about themselves, and they move on to the next coach. It's not until you realise that this is on me. This is on me, it's my dedication, it's my focus, my commitment.
I think it also falls down into maturity as well. As you get older, you start to learn more about yourself and you start to realise that for me, I'm the problem. So rather than move to another club or move to another coach, wherever, you've got to fix the problem yourself. So
it's weird. There's no other sport like it to make you grow up in the boxing and make you look long and hard at yourself and make some life decisions. But once you kind of answer those questions, you can help you grow as a person. Just for fun, just before we finish, thank you for your time as well, massively appreciated. 2 questions. We know the rematch is going to be in Saudi Arabia. That's got to be all about the money, surely. I'm certain that was signed to be in the UK before, but I'm not going to get political on that one. Repeat or revenge? Is Ruiz going to do Joshua again? Or do you think this time he's going to go long and Joshua will look to win it on points over 12 rounds?
I would like to see Joshua win it. He can win it, but it'll be hard. That's what I think. It'll be hard. It'll be hard. It won't be easy. I think he can avenge it. I'll go with Joshua.
What about you, Chris?
I'm going for the revenge. I think Joshua is going to be a lot smarter in the next one. I think he's going to keep his hands up, focus more on the sweet sides of boxing.
What was the problem with the first fight? Was he just not up for that? Was he thinking about Wilder or Fury and just he didn't look himself, did he? On the ring walk, it wasn't right.
I just thought it just wasn't his time. I thought at that time there it was Ruiz's time. He got called last minute. He was ready because he boxed like a month ago or something before that. I just think it was his time, and obviously Joshua took it L. It was one of the biggest upsets since I don't know how long ago. So someone was going to get upset. It was bound to happen, but I didn't think it was going to be Joshua. Even just looking at his boxing style and training, leading up to the fight, when he was training, you see him with his hands up, nice and tight, working inside, working long, short and mid-range. And then in the fight, he had his hand low, his left hand was low, he was getting caught with silly shots, and I thought, no, it just ain't him. But I think he's going to be a lot smarter this time and just yeah, just stick to his boxing.
Repeat or revenge?
Yeah, I'm not going to go against Josh because he's a British fighter, but definitely that fight, there was something wrong. I watched the documentary the other day, and then he was talking about showing little clips, and I said from the ring walk to getting like massaging his, like chewing his gum shield, that's not him. Something was wrong. Yeah. Only he knows that. Maybe his team know that something wasn't right. Changing a fight, training camp for a certain fight, then 2 weeks in, you get a next opponent, someone you're not prepared for. Is a big thing. It's happened to me. It's a big thing to change. I just think maybe he overlooked it. There's talk of fury, talk of wilder fights. I wouldn't like to say he's out the ball, but I think he maybe overlooked where he's just this little fat kid coming and trying to take the loss. I was just
temple shot.
Yeah,
that's it.
The reason that was his big break, and he took it at fair play to him. And do you know what? Josh got to be careful now. Not obviously won't overlook him. He knows what he's got to deal with, and whatever went wrong, I can't see it happening again. And I just think he has to be careful. I don't think it's going to be an easy ride because Ruiz is confident now. He's got his belts. He's beaten before. He's going to go in the ring and have a next confidence now as the champion, being the champion. So it's them sort of things what's going to be hard.
He knows he can do it.
Yeah,
he knows
exactly.
he can do it. Last question. I'll let you guys hang on to the mic. Let you guys go. This is a difficult one for me because all four of my children box. My two oldest kids box as well. My 15-year-old could be good. He's quite decent. We're all massive Lomachenko fans. We like that style. We love the movement kind of thing. But Luke Campbell's my guy. So kind of. How do you call that one? You've got to go with the British fighter surely, but he's fighting maybe pound for pound. How do you see that one going?
Lomachenko's up there with the pound for pound best fighters. Anyone who's boxing knows who he is. They know what he's about. With Luke, I've grown up with Luke. Boxing around the world, Luke. We was at the Junior World Championships in Morocco. Obed was there, Chris's brother was there, and we see this Ukrainian guy. He was stopping everyone. Like he had, I think, to win the gold medal, he had 5 fights, and he had 1, stopped 1, had 2, stopped them, had 3, and it's like we were watching this guy. Luke was at the same tournament, and it turns out it was Lomachenko, and there was a Cuban too. He was unreal, and them two met in the final, and even stopped him. So ever since then, we always like, who was this guy? And he went on to do massive things, winning world championships, winning 2 Olympics. So I think he's up there. He's up there with the best.
I don't think there's anybody. I don't think there's anyone below lightweight that can touch him. No. I really believe that.
Listen, good luck to Luke. Luke's done it the hard way. He's been there, done it. He's worked hard from a young age, and just being in there with a pound for pound great. That's saying something about Luke. He's at that level. He's fighting for a world title, and all the best to him. That's what I say.
It's over to you. How do you see it going, Campbell or Loma?
Well, can't lie. Don't think I would have lied and told myself that I think Luke Campbell can win. But Lomachenko is just on a different level. Just looking at the stuff he does, his angles, the way he puts pressure on you in the ring, he doesn't even have to throw a shot. His distance is perfect, his feints work all the time. He's just brilliant at everything. And
I think it's a crazy stat. Apart from the Salida fight that he lost, where he fight for a world title in the second fight, I think there's a stat that says he's lost the first 2 or 3 rounds of every pro fight he's had because he's just working people out.
That's all he does. He just works you out. I think it's a Ukrainian thing because I went to camp. I went to camp with Isaac Chamberlain. Went to Ukraine, and Isaac was sparring. He was at camp. He was sparring recently, and he does the same thing. It's just the same thing. His distance, timing, the way he feints, the way he sets up his punches. It's just on another level. And just looking at them from an experience point of view, you learn so much just watching them. These are the type of people I watch every day. Every day I watch boxing. There's not one day where I don't watch boxing. There's always, even certain times on a Saturday, I might be I might be out partying with my mum. She says, you don't want to put your phone on? I said, no, it's just a Saturday fight night, me. You know, always got it on the go. Everywhere I go, you see me. So, back to the question, I would love for Luke Campbell to win, but I just can't see how.
He used to have said it all.
Two gone for Loma.
I'm going for Lemo as well, you know. I always want the book to win, but just the skill level of the champions was amazing. The level was just amazing. The stuff he does in the ring is just another one of the season.
I kind of feel with Loma, it's preordained as well. Papachenko just kind of sent him into ballet when he was 6 years old. It's really ultimate. You are going to box, but not for the first 3 years while you learn movement and create balance. And
Listen, the way he boxes is phenomenal. So, I mean, like I said, Campbell's a good boxer. You know, I wish he were the best, but Lomachenko is for me.
Campbell wins biggest upset of all time, would you say? It's got to be up there.
100%, yeah.
Gents, thank you very much for your time. It's massively appreciated. Thank you for giving me a little bit back to the Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Julio Campbell, Chris Congo, and Bradley Skip.